Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalaakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Seeking all of your blessings to your devotees, so I can, interpret everything and speak everything based on what is being given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and apply this to my own purification. So we are continuing with Madhurya Kadambini, and we have completed like the big sections of the third shower of, which completed really the Anartha Nivriti. I mean, it's not like it completed, but kind of, reviewed all of that. And now we are moving on to the fourth shower today, which is Nishtha. That's where we are. So just a quick recap. Earlier we had seen in the step of Bhajana Kriya. Remember, there were two types of Bhajana Kriya. One was Anishtita Bhakti, which is unsteady devotional process. And then we saw the 6 things in there. And then we have Nishtita Bhakti, which is steady devotional process. So when Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur described the 6 unsteady devotional process, like the Utsahamai and all that other full list of things, unsteadiness, then after that, he went directly over to Anartha Nivriti and then started explaining everything that happens in Anartha Nivriti. But we did not really he did not really go towards Nishtita Bhakti, right, at that point. So now, after Anartha Nivriti explanation is complete, now we are going to look at what does it look like to get to the stage of Nishtita Bhakti, a steady devotional process. Okay, so the process of purification, these two verses are quoted in this fourth shower, right? So this is the verse we recite every morning before Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Srimad Bhagavatam 1-17. Shrinvatam swakata Krishna punye shravana kirtana hridayantosti abhadrani vidunoti sahasratam. Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma or Super Soul in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses the desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who relishes his message, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. So this is the Anartha Nivriti stage that we are talking about, where the purification happens. So what's the key factor here? That Sri Krishna, when we chant his name or speak about him or learn about him and all of that, right? So what happens is when we hear his messages, there is a cleansing process that happens within us. And it is cleansing the desire for material enjoyment. See, that's the big distraction, right? Having those material enjoyments is really what keeps us here. So when we hear Srimad Bhagavatam, it is going to be clearing that for us. Then the next verse talks about 1-18. Nashta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhakti bhavati naishtaki. See that naishtaki word? That is referring to nishtha. So now what happens? By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, who is established as an irrevocable fact. This is going on to the Nishtha stage by regular attendance. I'm just thinking, right? Again, we are so fortunate that we have this forum where we discuss Srimad Bhagavatam every day, right? 7 days a week, we are discussing Srimad Bhagavatam, and of course, we have additional venues too. But that regular attendance in Bhagavatam, what it does is, it is really taking all the anarthas away from our heart and taking us towards the stage of nishtha. That's what it is doing. Again, it is a very slow process, but you will be, I can just share from my personal experience. Okay, several years ago, a devotee friend of mine, so she was just starting this forum, what we have right now, but this was like way back when she had started the earlier forum. So at that time, the kids were still young, and she would ask me to join these calls. But I remember it was challenging for me to join the call every morning. Somehow I just wasn't able to keep up with those calls. But then as time passed, and then we had this new forum in Phoenix, right? Kevala Bhakti Prabhu had started this new forum, and then I was able to really steadily do it. Able to, I mean, again, it's Krishna's mercy that I was able to attend, but steady, I was able to do it. So what I'm saying is, earlier we do have challenges, we will have those challenges, able to consistent be attending the calls, be able to wake up in the morning every day at the same time and be able to do that. It is a challenge. But what happens is, when as and when time moves along and we still continue to do the same and to our best, we try to our best. So what happens is, slowly Krishna also starts supporting us, and then we get to a point where we are able to then continue like that. And it's like a circle, right? The more we do devotional service, the more cleansing happens. The more cleansing happens, the more we get attracted to the Lord, and the further he assists us, and then further we get engaged in more services. So that's really what happens. The more and more we are able to, so really from our side, we just have to make an effort and then pray to Krishna. Krishna, at this point, this is all I can do, but I'm really looking forward to having more engagement, and please help me so I'll be able to do more of the service and be engaged in your service. So we just keep praying to him, and this is it. That steadiness is that what takes us to the stage of nishtha. Anirtha Nivriti is going to continue. Even in the nishtha stage, it's going to continue. However, we should all really aspire towards coming to that steady state every day, no matter what. Wake up in the morning, able to do this, able to attend the Srimad Bhagavatam, able to attend the Sunday feast class, kind of put like certain things on the calendar for the week, look forward to the week, and kind of jot down those things on the calendar, right? Like blocks of time where you want to know that this is the time I'm going to dedicate to Krishna. And whatever it looks like, everybody's calendar is going to look different. But as long as you make that sankalpa, that goal for ourselves, like I'm not talking about you, I'm also talking about myself, right? About making that goal for myself, plugging that in on my calendar every day. I have that time. And then Sundays, I dedicate myself. I will go to Mangal Arati every Sunday morning. Or then after that, again, I don't know what your calendars are, but evening I'll go to the Sunday feast. So I kind of have that all plugged into the calendar. Every week, reoccurring meetings, right? We do that for our work. So why not do that for Krishna? Reoccurring meetings every week. And then we just keep continuing. And that's really what is Nishtha, right? We make our effort from our side, and then Krishna will support us. So here are the 5 obstacles. What keeps us not getting into the Nishtha? These are the things which still stays and they linger. The other things we saw in the Anartha Nivriti were a lot of the things, but we can continue working on them. But these 5 are really sticky, like it's really hard, and they stay with us for a long time. What are they? The first one is Leya, which is increased drowsiness. Sleep, right? During hearing and chanting. Basically, what it is just laziness. I'm just so tired. I'm just so lazy, and all of that. So that comes from Tamaguna. Again, a lot has to do, practically speaking, a lot has to do with our diet and just the activities we do in the day. I can just practically speak for it too, like just how we regulate our diet, how we regulate our activities, that contributes a lot towards this laya, increased sleepiness, drowsiness. Second one is vikshepa, which is mundane, ordinary topics that distract us during hearing and chanting. Again, we are in this world, right? We are doing our so many. There is somebody that needs to be on mute. Prabhu, can you mute, please? Somebody, I think, is not muted. So the next one is vikshepa, which is mundane, ordinary topics. So I was just saying that, we are in this world. We go to work. We are engaged in a lot of activities and things like that. So it is very common for us to get distracted. But however, again, the more and more we are able to bring our mind back during chanting or during reading Srimad Bhagavatam and things like that, that will really help us. So now the first one was in the mode of ignorance, but this one is in the mode of passion. That's what happens with Vikshepa. The next one is apratipati, which is lack of enthusiasm. This is indifference in spite of absence of laya and vikshepa. Guess what? Now here I am not tired and I am not getting distracted either. But still I am so indifferent. I'm standing in front of the deities at the temple, doing everything. I'm just somewhere else, completely indifferent. I'm doing the services to the deities, doing everything, but no, that interest is not there. So that is apratipati, and that is tamaguna, again in the mode of ignorance. Then we have kashaya, which is previous impressions of anger, greed, pride, conceit, and so forth. So this is all samskaras, from previous lifetimes. So many lifetimes we have taken, and we have had so many of those behaviors which are imprinted on our soul. So in this lifetime also, like how we react to things, maybe it is like quick to respond, react, not to respond, quick to react to things, and rather than taking the time to respond, right? And then the greed, or maybe even the attraction to things and unwanted things, so things like that. These are all coming from previous lifetimes. Again, this is also in the mode of passion. Then we have rasa swada, which is non-absorption of one's mind in devotional practices, rather want to enjoy material pleasure. So distracted, so wanting to enjoy a lot of the forbidden things, and that again is like the material pleasure, very heavily invested in material pleasure. So that is also in the mode of passion. I know I'm over time, it's 1 minute over. So I think I'm going to stop over here, and then Bakshi Gopal Prabhu will continue from here. Uh, there is little bit more actually to go over. There are 2 more slides. Yeah, we'll do that tomorrow. Thank you so much again.